Hey guys, Glitchy Mango here to bring you my informal review / opinion piece on Spooky's House of Jumpscares. I really enjoyed this game for the most part. It's unique, fresh, completely free, and an interesting entry into the horror genre. The game was published and developed by Lag Studios as their first release. The game tasks you with exploring Spooky's mansion with a total of 1,000 rooms. It sounds like an overly large number, and to be perfectly honest, it kind of is. A lot of the rooms get reused, and hundreds of them have nothing in them aside from decorations. For the purposes of this review, I only played the first 500 rooms at this point, and may do a review for the last 500 at a later date. I love how the game actually uses cutesy stuff as well as dark humor. I feel like so many horror developers take their games way too seriously, and constantly try to keep a good distance from anything that feels like it could make you enjoy yourself. But you can do that and still maintain a scary game. It's really refreshing to see a developer incorporate that kind of thing into a horror game. For a small indie game, the music and sound effects are absolutely great. I mean, listen to this. That one freaking sound effect scared me more than almost every monster in the game. Even though I criticize a large number of rooms, I must admit I really did like the sense of deja vu it conveys, as well as its contributions to the atmosphere. While the atmosphere isn't at all Dark Descent levels, it's still really good, especially for a free-to-play indie game. The random pages of journal entries and such made their way into this game as well, and even though it's a total cliche in horror games, I still love finding little bits of information through them. Unfortunately though, one of the biggest letdowns of this game was the enemies. Don't get me wrong, the setup on them is great, and I love that they took the effort to set up each and every enemy in the game. I can't stress that enough. The design of a few are also really good, like the Asian Ghost. I love monsters that play off of movie tropes like that. But unfortunately, all enemies found in the first 500 rooms, except for one, can be beaten in the exact same way. Just run for the exit and don't stop. That's it. They can hurt you if they manage to corner you, but they don't do much damage and your health regenerates anyway. It just prevented me from being scared of them, especially since they just head straight for you all derpy. It's kind of lacking all challenge. It's not until around room 310 that you finally encounter an enemy that this doesn't work on, and he is great. I won't spoil him here or show footage of him aside from the setup, but I really liked his design and the way he attacked, even though it has been done a lot in horror games now. His setup also tells a fairly twisted, even if somewhat generic, revenge on the village folk type story, which I really liked. Still though, he represents a very small percentage of the 500 rooms I played, but he was sorely needed. There's also some really unsettling areas in the game with no explanation, which I love. Here's a quick example. Again, this room is never really explained and seemed to serve no real purpose as far as I could tell, and that's great. You don't need to spend a whole game saying why everything is happening, and oftentimes the scariest things are the things you don't understand. Gameplay wise, there was one major problem that kept nagging at me once I noticed it. At first you can save every 50 levels and later every 100, but if you die, that's it, back to your save state. This isn't a problem at all at first, but later they introduce an instant fail mechanic into the game, and you can see why that would be annoying. Luckily, I only died once, and the game really isn't very hard at this point, but I could see this being a problem later. I should probably talk about Spooky herself. She's cool, I like her. She kind of feels like a character you'd expect to see out of something like Adventure Time, but with psychopathic tendencies. She greets you at the start and appears every 250 rooms as far as I can tell, usually with a bit of light humor accompanying her. All in all, the game is great for a free-to-play game, and if you're into this sort of thing, I highly recommend you play it and consider supporting the devs as well. It is on Steam with its soundtrack for sale as DLC, and I believe Lag Studios also accepts donations, although I'm not certain on that. I'm Glitchy Mango, and thank you for watching.